you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic just as I am. Today I'm so excited to be recording episode 1 on my channel. I just feel so happy. For all the new subscribers and the returning subscribers, you are all welcome. I'm your host Claire. And for the new subscribers, you can go check out the trailer of this channel so that you can be familiarized with what I'll be talking about on this channel. Today, I'll be discussing a topic on setting healthy boundaries with yourself. By this, I refer to those boundaries, those guidelines and limits that you set for yourself. First, before I continue, I want to start by defining a boundary, what a boundary is. A boundary refers to what you allow. According to me, it is what you allow, what you accept, what you accommodate, and what you tolerate in your life. I refer to those things that you allow and those that you don't allow in your life. Setting boundaries with yourself as an adult is a way of reparenting yourself, and it's also a form of self-care, a form of self-respect, and also a way to create a relationship with yourself and live a healthy, structured life. Before we go further, I want to take you back, and then we do a flashback to those days when we used to live with our parents, whereby our parents had set boundaries on us, whereby we used to have maybe sleeping time, we have our bathing time, eating time, tea time in the evening, such things. Those were boundaries placed on us by our parents, and they used to be very healthy. They enabled us, for example, going to bed time. That boundary was so important to us because it enabled us to have enough sleep and wake up the next day feeling healthy, refreshed, and such things. But as we continue to grow, our parents let us to be free. We get our freedom. But as we gain that freedom, it's now up to us to utilize the freedom with maybe with respect on ourselves and with care for ourselves. But if you just take the freedom for granted and use it anyhow, you are going to have some negative forces around your life, and you live a life whereby you are not happy. But when you have boundaries in your life, you will live a healthy life whereby you are happy physically, emotionally, mentally. You are all healthy, and which is a good thing for you to be able to become productive all day. An example of a life whereby you don't have boundaries as an adult is whereby maybe, for example, you come back from work, you're so tired, you decide let me just take some rest by sitting down. You turn on the TV, you watch. All of a sudden, you follow a series. Through the series, you watch more and more episodes. Then you are just like, what the fuck? Time is moving. It's maybe around 2 a.m. Then you are like, I need to eat. I haven't showered. You need to sleep. You need to have enough sleep because tomorrow you're waking up very early to go back to work. Sorry. But now, because you don't have boundaries, you end up going to bed. Because you have time to cook, you decide, let me just pick something from the fridge. You eat and you go to bed. The food that you pick could be even junk food. You're not eating healthy. It could be even just a drink. You drink some juice and go to bed. You have to wake up tomorrow in the morning. That is not a healthy life, because from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. you have maybe like 5 hours of sleep, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, just few hours of sleep. You are not healthy. You sleep in a way whereby tomorrow you wake up, you're just grumpy. You're not active for the day. But when you have boundaries with yourself, you know what time to sleep, what time you should eat, what time you should wake up, the amount of sleep you should get, and such things, which is a healthy life. That's why it's so important to have boundaries with yourself. With me, you see, that kind of a person who always feels like, I don't want to leave this out. So I always note down those important points that I feel like I shouldn't forget while mentioning things. In life, we need these boundaries to keep us safe and healthy. Because you see, when you have a healthy boundary, maybe around your food, you set a timetable that you'll not be eating outside. Rather, you'll be eating in your house every day. You'll be cooking for yourself food. That's eating healthy, because you know the kind of food that you will prepare and the kind of food that will not make you maybe the junk food, such things. Because when you go eat there, mostly it's the junk food full of, they're not that fresh food like the ones that you cook at home. Always these boundaries that we set for ourselves as a person, it helps you to reflect on your needs and your priorities in life. Because you see, when you come back from work, your priority is to have enough rest so that you can face a new day to go to work. But when you don't have boundaries, you end up watching, just the way I've said, you stay on social media the whole night, watch Netflix. All of a sudden it's late, you don't have enough sleep, and you're not going to be productive the next day. Yeah. So I believe that setting boundaries with our lives is a form of self-respect, a form of self-care, and a way also of reparenting ourselves as adults, which is a good thing. There's various types of boundaries as we grow up. We have the physical boundaries that deal with our space. We have financial boundaries. We have media boundaries. That refers to both social media. We have screen time. Those ones I'm not going to discuss about the types of boundaries, but I want us to relate basically with our lives, what is going on today. I don't want to give you something that you are going to imagine, but I want us to face the reality of life. I want us to be able to set boundaries that are going to help us to continue to be more productive as human beings. I've listed a few of such boundaries, but as you go ahead, you can continue adding them on your own, because these boundaries are not the same for all of us. The boundaries I set with myself will not be the same with the boundaries that you set with yourself, or what somebody else sets with himself or herself. We are all different in nature. Our needs are different. Our priorities are different. We have different roles in life. Some of us work online. Some of us work in the office. Everything in our lives are so different. All our boundaries are not going to be the same. And with that being noted, I just want to lay down a few things, a few examples of boundaries that will enable you that will act as a guide for you to set your own boundaries and your own boundaries as a person. There are a few examples that I've written down. The first one is whereby somebody sets a boundary saying, I will not work on off days or on weekends. This is whereby you see some people are those kind of people. Maybe you have an off at work. You're told you'll be on off during these days. You decide just because I'm on off, let me work, which is sometimes for me. As for me, it is not good. As I've said, our boundaries are different and our priorities and needs are different. It's better for you to enjoy your holiday so that by the time you go back to work, you are healthy enough and you've taken a break that's enough for you to catch up with your life and such things. So sometimes you need to set a boundary whereby you say, when I'm on leave, I'll not be working, and on weekends, I'll not be working. Another boundary that you'll set with yourself is, I will limit self-criticism. This is whereby you criticize yourself to talk to yourself negative. That is not good at all. You need to set a boundary whereby you tell yourself, or you note down that I will be talking to myself positively. I will be doing this and this and this positively for myself. I'll be doing these things to make myself feel worthy. I'll be talking to myself like this. I'll be saying these words to myself to feel worthy. You see, as we are all humans, and with the social media thing, you feel sometimes like somebody is a threat to you, which is all normal for all of us as we are humans. You feel like this person is way much better than me or is doing better than me. You compare your life with somebody else's, which is not good. You just have to set a boundary whereby you tell yourself, this is your life and you're going to live your life like this, and do not compare your life with somebody else's, because it is going to bring you to you'll be self-sabotaging yourself, which is not good. Yeah, and another one is setting a boundary whereby you tell yourself, I'll not be drinking on weekday nights, or just on weekdays. I'll not be drinking, and I will only be drinking on weekends. Also, somebody else will set boundaries saying, I'll drink this amount on weekdays, and we are all different. But it is good to have boundaries with how much you drink, when you will drink, and such things, so that you live a healthy life. But for most people I've seen from my friends, they have a boundary whereby they don't drink maybe from Monday to Friday. On weekend they drink, and they always have a certain amount of drinks that they'll have or the amount of money that they'll spend. That is also a good boundary for you, because it will enable you to not drink during the weekdays, because drinking during the weekdays also, sometimes we are not the same. Some people, they wake up with hangovers the next day. So the main important point here is that you set a boundary based on when you'll be drinking, how much you'll be drinking, how much you spend on drinking, and such boundaries for yourself. It enables you to feel, you'll not be staying with the regrets, because sometimes you drink like, why did I even drink? Why did I spend this amount on drinking and I could have done this? Such things, which is not good. Also, some people, about the work thing, apart from not working on maybe weekends and on leave days, some people set a boundary whereby they tell themselves, once I get home, I'll not be working. Maybe I'll not be working past 7 p.m. I'll not be replying to emails past 7 p.m. and I will not open emails before 8 a.m. or I'll not reply to any email before 8 a.m. That's also a good boundary for yourself, because it enables you to have your time alone and have a life that is away from the work life. I don't know if you get me. Another thing is that set a boundary whereby you tell yourself, I will reach out for help whenever I need it. There's a podcast I was listening to, I've forgotten the title, but it was talking about whereby whenever you need help, love yourself enough that if you can afford to pay for some help, just pay for it. Maybe you work a lot from your way of earning your living. Maybe you work the whole day till late hours, such things. You don't have time to do your cleaning, such things. It is good to look for help. At least get someone, pay, and let them do the work for you, because it doesn't pay no matter if you do the work. You're just straining yourself. You don't have time to rest. So it is good to set such a boundary also, to ask for help whenever you need it. Another boundary that you need for yourself is sleep time. Set a boundary whereby I will be sleeping at this time and I will wake up at this time. This is whereby you set that I'll sleep for this amount of time. For example, you say I'll be at bed by 9 p.m. and by 8:30 all screens should be off, no phone, no nothing. By 9 p.m. I should be sleeping and I'll wake up at this time. And I must have this amount of sleep. That's a good boundary for yourself, because it enables you to feel like you care for yourself. It enables you to have enough rest. And which is a good thing, because you feel the next day when you wake up, you'll not be waking up with a grumpy spirit. You feel like, oh, I should have had enough sleep. You'll not be ready to face the day if you didn't have enough sleep. And that is normal for all of us. When you don't have enough sleep, you won't be able to face the day well. Another boundary that you have to set with yourself is that I will not call my ex when I'm lonely or when I feel like I miss him or her. That is a good boundary for yourself. It enables you, it shows that you respect yourself, you respect things that have happened, and it shows the other person that you respect yourself. I don't know if you're getting that point. It shows yourself that you respect yourself, and it shows the other person that you respect yourself, which is a good boundary also, because it leaves a good reputation about you, not being that clingy girlfriend or boyfriend, such things, ex-girlfriend. Also, another boundary you can set for yourself is that I will reserve time for solitude. By this, I refer to the me time. I will always create time for myself. I'll always create time for me to catch up with myself, to feel my feelings, to determine where I'm not okay and correct it. Such things. You have to set time, at least. For some people, it differs for all of us, but at least create, maybe you can say, for these 2 hours of the day, I'll be 2 hours for a whole week. You can set apart 2 days whereby you create maybe an hour each day, whereby you'll have your solitude. You'll have time for solitude. You'll be catching up with yourself, underline your feelings, get to know, catch up with yourself, meditate, and such things. That is a good boundary also for yourself, to keep yourself healthy physically, mentally, and you'll be able to catch up with yourself emotionally and be able to feel your feelings. Also, another boundary you can set for yourself is based on finances. You have to set boundaries and check on your list. You set this money is for this money is for this. An example is when you go to the supermarket, you come up with a shopping list whereby you write down all the things that you need. When you go to the supermarket or wherever you're going to shop or anything, you stick to your budget. You stick to the shopping list. You stick to whatever you said you're going to buy. You buy it only without going there. You buy something else that you didn't need, or you only budget for the things that you need, not the things that you want. Yeah. Another thing that you can do is I will only be sharing this amount of personal information. That's a boundary whereby you say, when I meet people, this is the amount that I'm going to share about my life. For example, you can say, when I meet a new person, I don't have to talk about my personal life, such as relationship and other things. You set a boundary whereby when you meet somebody new or somebody new, you talk about maybe your name, career life, your work, side things, and not entering into your family life or your personal life, like relationships. So that is a personal boundary. That's a boundary also that you set with yourself, that this is the amount of information that people should know out there. Because sometimes have you ended up you end up at a place whereby you just stated and then you remember, oh, I shouldn't have said that about myself. You remember the way you talked about your life, and then you are like, I gave too much information. So at least set a boundary whereby you tell yourself, this is the amount of information that should be going out there, and this is what people will learn about me. Apart from this, nothing else. The other boundary that you will set with yourself is you set a day for thorough cleaning. You set, maybe you say, on Friday I'll be doing laundry. Every Friday I'll be doing laundry, or every Saturday I'll be doing laundry, thorough cleaning and such things. That is a good boundary for yourself, because it enables you also, despite having having those other boundaries like good sleep side things, you also need a clean, like a safe space whereby you are clean, you live in a clean space and such things. Such a boundary is so important because it enables you to live in a clean space, and with a clean space you feel so good, refreshed, such things. Another boundary that you will set about to yourself is that I will not gossip about other people when they are not around. That's a boundary, by the way, for you. It is up to you to decide whether you're going to gossip about your friend, about somebody else when they are not there. That's a boundary that you should set with yourself. For me, I found that boundary to be so important because it is also a way of respecting other people's privacy or respecting other people. Just basically a respect. Because you can imagine how would you feel knowing that somebody else was talking about you behind your back. So likewise to you, what you don't want it to be done to you, don't do it to somebody else. Another boundary that you should set with yourself is not calling somebody because you are guilty. Have you ever been in a scenario whereby maybe somebody calls you and then you tell them you are busy, I'll kindly call at this time. Maybe they have called you and you're at work, and then you tell them I'm busy, kindly call me at 7 p.m. when I'm back home, and they don't call. Don't be guilty feeling like you did bad, not telling them not to call you. Don't. Just feel like you have done your part, let them do their part. You told them to call, and if they didn't want to call, don't feel sorry for that. Don't feel like you've offended them. No. Don't have time for people pleasing. Just have your time. Have time for yourself. Let them take the way it is. That's for me. That's my take. Yeah. Another thing is it is good to set a boundary whereby you tell yourself, this is the content that I'll be following online. These are the apps that are most important for me. And for example, if there are some certain social media platforms or pages that you feel like they are not good for you, unfollow them and uninstall them. Because you see that those platforms whereby you feel like they are a threat to you, they make you uncomfortable when you watch such. Just do your part. Just unfollow them. If it means uninstalling the app, get rid of the app for the basis of your happiness. You see, as I said at the start of this vlog, there's no important relationship than your own relationship. The relationship with yourself. It is the most important relationship ever. Yeah. With all those being said, I want to discuss also how do you set these boundaries with yourself, because it is setting boundaries also, it could be easy and sometimes it is hard for yourself, but it is good to be at ease with yourself when setting these boundaries, so that you don't pressure yourself or you don't live a life whereby you're not comfortable with the boundaries that you have set for yourself, or you feel like you put too much pressure on yourself. How do you set these boundaries with yourself? The first one is that you identify the different areas in your life that need structure or limits, such as your finances, relationships, your materials, that's your materials used, such as cars and such things. You identify where do you need limits, because you see from your finances you can realize that sometimes you end up it's end month, you have just received your salary, in the next 10 days or 20 days you have depleted yourself, like you don't have enough money to take care of yourself anymore. So there are those areas that consume a lot of money, which is not necessary. You have to set limits on such. So the first thing that you should do is you identify the areas in your life that need limits, that needs these boundaries. Yeah. The second one, you create the boundaries that respect your goals and your values. Don't just create boundaries for the sake of creating boundaries. Create something that will make you feel comfortable, that you'll feel comfortable with it, and it also it relates with your goals in life. Yeah, I hope that's clear enough. Also, don't try to set too many boundaries at once. You see, at times because maybe even after listening to this vlog, you say, let me set these boundaries, this one. That's putting pressure on yourself. Just set one boundary at a time, a boundary at a time. Because we are all humans. You have to have pity on yourself. Be at ease with yourself. Maybe you've been drinking on weekdays, and today maybe you decide that I want to be drinking on weekends only. Set a boundary whereby you are at ease with yourself. You say, I will only be drinking for a start now. I'll only be drinking on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. After maybe some 3 weeks or a month, you change to I'll be drinking only on Wednesday and weekends. All of a sudden, you are back on track. You are drinking only on weekends. That's a good boundary. Just relate to your goals and values. Because as a person, you have to know that you are also human. And human is to also, you can fuck up. Yeah. Another thing is use compassionate accountability. By this one, I refer to your accountability with what happens. You see, sometimes you set a boundary whereby you say, I'll stick to my budget when I go and buy something. But all of a sudden, you go there, you find something else and you buy, and then you come back to the house and you feel like you've done something wrong. Be at ease with yourself. Just tell yourself, it's okay. Like for me, I'll tell myself, it's okay, Claire, you've done this, but you can still correct. You still have time. The next time you go to the supermarket, stick to your budget. Don't buy something else. So that's compassionate accountability. Don't tell yourself, like, because you have bought something that you didn't need, you tell yourself that you'll not buy something else that you need because you bought yourself something that you didn't need. Like, it's a way of punishing yourself for buying something that you didn't need, which is not good. Be compassionate with yourself. Yeah. Also, that is make incremental changes. That one I had said, change comes one by one. Today you set boundaries this month. The boundaries of this month should not be the same with for the next month, unless you are satisfied with the life that you have. That's when you can't open space for more boundaries, or you can't limit your boundaries or increase your boundaries. So you should always, for example, for drinking, as I had said, this month you could say I'll be drinking only on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The next month you make an increase whereby you say by saying incremental changes, it is whereby you reduce the negatives and increase the positives. So for the drinking, you will be reducing the number of days you'll be drinking on weekdays. That's also a healthy boundary. Setting boundaries is just as important as setting boundaries with other people. See the way you set boundaries with your partner, that if you say this happens, you should such things. You are not supposed to ask me this. You're not to talk to me like that. When I say no, I mean it, such things. It is also as important as setting boundaries with other people, the boundaries that you set with yourself. Always value your health, your happiness, your time. Value yourself. Take care of yourself so that you don't, at the end of the day, you feel regret. You only have one life. Live it, love it, and enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching my vlog. Kindly consider to like, share, subscribe, and also comment. It's been nice having you. Bye bye.